like many, one of our customers actually suffered some really significant price escalations through COVID-19. Supply chains were constrained, they had less power, and they needed to pay the price to get what they wanted. And they recognised that it was the right thing to do at the time to pay these extra fees, but they also recognised that some of the price escalations they'd accepted were not reasonable. They got taken advantage of and they should have rejected those. And some of the price rises that were reasonable at the time were no longer reasonable anymore. The supply chain constraints have actually eased. Those needed to be reversed. So what they recognised that they needed to do was a cost reduction project. So they had a look at the previous incumbent, a procurement consultancy business that last time negotiated on their behalf a cost reduction. And what they found last time was that it was quite expensive because they actually paid a percentage of success. They found that a lot of the cost savings that were achieved by those consultants, when they were handed back to the business hadn't fought very hard to win those, so they didn't fight to keep them. So a lot of those cost reductions actually got unstitched. And they also found that because the consultants didn't have to live with them, they actually didn't care too much about the relationships, and a lot of relationships got trashed through the process. So instead, they went with us. And we didn't do it on their behalf. Our model was to enable them to do it themselves. So we helped them develop strategy for each of the different supplier segments. We helped them prepare for each of those negotiations. We then helped them by practicing those negotiations before they took place so that they were ready to answer things like the suppliers escalating sanctions, making demands, or bringing different sets of data and supporting data to the table. They were ready to handle that stuff. Then we helped them with the communications that they went to market with, so how they presented this cost reduction to the suppliers and the proposals they made. And ultimately, we sat on site for a week while they had their cost reduction with each of these suppliers, and we gave them real lifetime support throughout these negotiations to make sure that they went well. So how did it go? Well, they achieved a bit over 150% of their cost reduction target. They did it actually at about a cost of roughly 10% of what it would have been if it was outsourced. And they actually found that on top of those two things, they got a number of different wish lists that hadn't been considered last time. So things like additional support and resource from these suppliers. So they did really quite well. And there were some learnings out of this project. Not only did they find that this gave them an incredible amount of momentum when they were having the cost reduction week, there's an expectation that this actually will carry moving forward. So the momentum gained here and now will actually spill over into the next negotiations these buyers have. So if you want to talk to us about cost reduction projects, we'd love to hear from you.